Well, good morning. Good to be back with you. Day 2 of the Bernie Show here on my new home, my favorite new home. I'm loving it, loving it, loving it. I'll have a column ready for you online at sportshubstl.com, sportshubstl.com. But welcome to the Tuesday show. We got a lot to talk about. I mean, Oli Marmol with his lineup decisions just kind of got me at a tizzy this morning, kind of reviewing everything and what he's planning to do. I mean, we thought he'd go one way and he's kind of did a head fake and went the other. I just love this stuff. Anyway, welcome to the Bernie Show on sportshubstl.com. Don't forget to subscribe at to the Sports Hub STL YouTube channel for my videos. Plus, the Randy Carricker Show with Brooks Grimsley. There's all kinds of abundant video content on the Cardinals, Blues, City SC, Mizzou, Battlehawks, Slew. We even have, we have something truly unique to this market. Never seen anything like it. It's wonderful. We stream live post-game shows on all of these teams after every single game. And all the work that's being put in this, it's wonderful. Check out those live streamings. The Blues play tonight. Hop on there after the game and take a look at what the great work that's being done is that we break down the games for you. And if you like sports betting talk, there's also a fun show every Friday called Domesticated Gamblers. That one didn't come out of my mouth very well. Domesticated Gamblers. Maybe because I'm not domesticated. So anyway, also, if you subscribe, you'll be able to make comments under the videos. Listen, as you know from my old YouTube channel, I love reading and responding to your comments. So go ahead and subscribe so we can do that again. You subscribe by going to youtube.com/@sportshub STLOU, at Sports Hub St. Lou. All right, let's get started. I feel like I want to tell you about everything here on the site because I'm so excited by it. So I just want to help get the word out. You get the word out for us too. All right, let's get started. Talking some Cardinals. Look at Oli Marmol, huh? The Cardinals manager is full of surprises, isn't he? It's going to be a very interesting year for the manager, a very interesting year, because thinking about it, because in addition to working with the old boss this season, John Masyn, of course, Oli is in effect auditioning for the new boss, Chaim Bloom, who's going to take over for Mo after 2025 season ends. Oh, yeah. And there's also this little thing. There's a couple guys named Pujols and Molina. I don't know. Maybe you have heard of them, right? They're campaigning for major league managing jobs. Good times for Oli, right? So he's also been put in a position. It's like, all right, what, how do you manage a team where, management wants to kind of like use this season to, in effect, learn a lot to set up in 2026. So yet Marmol's going to be trying to managing to save his job. So where does he go with this? Does Marmol play every game to win? Winning's the only thing that matters. In normal circumstances, that would be accurate, but they're having this so-called runway season where there's opportunities for young players. So will Oli make lineup decisions? When he makes lineup decisions, is it going to be a situation where, he'll make concessions? Maybe he'll want to do something else, but he'll make concessions to stick with the quote runway theme. I don't know. Will he, another way to put it, will Oli Marmol put John Masynk's youth movement or whatever the heck we want to call it? Will he put that emphasis aside and go with the lineups that the manager, wants to use? This is setting up some wild stuff for 2025. I really believe that. As I mentioned at the top, is Oli Marmol going to head fake our expectations and run away from what we expect? And then he's going to like zigzag and take off the other way. Buckle up, man. I got a theme for this video today. You're going to hear it a couple times. I do believe we have I'm laughing at my own stuff. That's bad form. I do believe we have a Marmol on the loose. We have a Marmol on the loose. Is anybody going to be able to catch him? Right? Is he going to be able to basically run away from Mo, run away from Bloom? We have a Marmol on the loose. And the reason I say this is that, first of all, just to have some fun, right? Marmol had some surprises for us when the Cardinals played their annual exhibition game against their AAA affiliate in Memphis on Monday night. Two things jumped out, and I know you know this already, but I wanted to really get into it because this stuff fascinates me. Two things jumped out when Oli Marmol set his lineup for this game last night. And he did tell reporters on the seat that he plans to use the same lineup for Thursday's season opener against the Twins at Busch Stadium. So this wasn't just kind of like, well, it's an exhibition game. I'll just try to do a couple things different. No. He made it clear that this would be the core lineup, at least early in the season. And by the way, I'm not going to go through the whole lineup. I'm more interested in the top three in the lineup and the bottom two of the lineup. But anyway, let's get into this. Surprises. First, Masyn Winn wasn't batting first. Now, that gig went to Lars Nootbaar. And I was floored by this because Oli Marmol has been so stubborn about Masyn Winn's going to be a great leadoff hitter. Masyn Winn's my guy. And after putting Winn in the leadoff spot all spring, all of a sudden, the lineup card came out last night. That's going to be the lineup card basically early in the season. And Masyn Winn was not the leadoff hitter. That gig, as I mentioned, I believe, went to Lars Nootbaar. Winn was slotted at 9th in the lineup, one spot behind Victor Scott at number 8. So, yeah, this was a major pivot for Marmol. Now, he'll try to say, well, I've been thinking about this all along, and I don't know about that. I'm not so sure about that. But whatever, right? Whatever. What matters is the decision that he does make rather than the decision he was thinking about making. But he seems so stubbornly dedicated to running it back with Masyn Winn as a leadoff hitter. After Winn posted, and this is a fact and a stat. I mentioned it. I'll mention it again. Last season, Masyn Winn posted the second worst leadoff man on base percentage in a full season in Cardinals franchise history. It goes back to 1901. That's how bad his on base capability was in the leadoff spot. So Nootbaar is going to move into that role, and that's definitely a positive, and I will return to that here in a little bit. Now, the second thing that certainly caught all of our attention, Marmol had a choice last night, and ostensibly a choice for opening day, between Nolan Gorman and Alec Burleson at the designated hitter spot in the lineup, and he went with Burleson. Now, Burleson is going to get a lot of run at DH. Gorman's going to get a lot of run at DH. Again, to elaborate on that here in a little bit. And in a pure baseball sense, it makes sense because Gorman had a hideous spring at the plate. Burleson didn't hit for average, but boy, he had a really high slugging percentage. And I think he was getting, really sort of building into the regular season with some momentum. And he's also outstanding against right-handed pitchers. I keep saying this, but more on that later. But anyway, I found it really interesting. Oli Marmol had a choice between Nolan Gorman and Alec Burleson, and he went with Burley at DH. Now, this is where I pause and say, wait a minute. These people can do whatever they want to do, right? Seriously. And they're going to do what they want to do. It doesn't matter what I think, you think, right? But wasn't this supposed to be a kind of designated all-in season on Nolan Gorman? Remember John Mozeliak saying that over and over and over again? Well, Jordan Walker, Nolan Gorman. How many times did we hear Mo in an interview, whether it be on sports on a Sunday morning or Cam Wax or wherever, that his goal, one of his big goals this year, the team's big goals this year, was to give Nolan Gorman at least 550 plate appearances in 2025. Now, listen, Gorman's going to be in the lineup plenty of times as a second baseman or DH. And so I'm not like freaking out over the fact that Marmol went with Burley for the exhibition game, and he will be going with Burley at DH against the Twins Thursday. There's going to be a lot of moving parts to this season. But I just think it says something. I think it tells us something that Burleson was the first choice at DH because it was kind of a neck and neck thing. So what are we seeing here? Is this a sign that Marmol's going to go against some of John Mozeliak's preferences? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe they're on the same page. I kind of doubt it. Not after Mozeliak spent all fall and winter long talking about runway and wanting to get Nolan Gorman 550 plate appearances, right? Again, it's not like I want to emphasize this so you don't have to leave comments saying, well, Bernie, calm down a little bit. Gorman's going to play. I know that. So you can type a comment on some other stuff about all these decisions. Again, it's not like Nolan Gorman's going to be buried on the bench and treated like some kind of scrub, right? Oh, well, we'll pinch hit him here and there. Yeah, maybe he'll start a game on occasion. It's not going to be like that. He's going to have a pretty prominent role. And the opening day lineup is just that, the opening day lineup. It's not the lineup that's going to be in place, snapped in there for 162 games. Well, obviously. But there's I see some symbolic significance to this, symbolic significance of seeing Burleson as the first choice, at least right now, the first choice for the DH spot against right-handed starting pitchers. And it raises some questions in my mind anyway about just how far the Cardinals will go with Gorman this season if Gorman isn't hitting very well. Now, we're going to circle back to that. Let's get back to the leadoff man decision. Newar is absolutely the right choice, and I have advocated for that. I've also given up on the possibility or the probability that Oli Marmol would do this because he seemed to be intent on running it back with Winn at leadoff. To his credit, he had a change of heart because now he's doing what's best for the team. So Newbar's the right choice. Now it's up to him to stay healthy enough in order to play enough for this decision to really matter. But Newar, and I'll explain why, Newar has the desirable skill set for the top of the slot of the lineup card. And I don't want to hear about stolen bases, right? This is all about getting on base at a high level, also having some pop, right? I don't care about stolen bases. I don't want, they shouldn't be stealing bases unless they're very confident of having about a 78, 80% success rate anyway. You don't run into outs on the base paths by trying to steal bases. Well, if he's a leadoff guy, he's got to steal a lot of bases. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. It's not the time of Lou Brock or Vince Coleman anymore, okay? The sport's changed. Anyway, pardon that mini rant. Anyway, Newar was exceptional in the leadoff spot in 2023. In 309 plate appearances batting first that year, 2 years ago, he had a 277 batting average. That's good. In today's day and age, 277 is good. On-base percentage as a leadoff hitter in 23, 362. That's very good. Slugging percentage in the leadoff spot, 454. Wow. So you get a high on-base rate, a high walk rate, and power, right? He walked 12% of the time that season as the leadoff man. That's a high walk rate. And he kept the strikeouts low. I think it was like 17%. In this day and age, that's really good. Based on the WRC plus metric, I know a lot of you don't like the gobbledygook stats. Basically, think of it as an OPS plus stat, but it's a little fancier, and I think it's better. I'm talking about WRC plus. Newt was 25% above league average offensively as the Cardinals leadoff man when he was in that role in 2023. That's what you're looking for. One of the best things about Newbar is this is like a bonus. One of the best things about Newbar is his ability to hit lefty pitching. You wouldn't think that would be the case because, of course, Lars hits from the left side. But during his big league career, Newbar's got a 751 OPS against lefties and a 780 OPS against righties. That's really good in terms of you don't have to worry about, well, they're starting a left-hander today, so I better go with a different leadoff man. No, you don't have to do that. Sure, Newbar does better when facing right-handers, which is to be expected. But here's a key stat for you. And one thing on these videos, if you're new to this, I will always find some interesting stuff that'll kind of back up what we're saying, or maybe it's just good, fresh information for you, because I'm really dedicated to that. I truly am, and I mean that sincerely. So just to let you know about Newbar, I'm going to call it left on left crime. Lefty hitter against a lefty pitcher, which is not a favorable matchup for left-handed hitters, right? Anyway, since the start of 2022, Newbar's performance against left-handed pitching ranks 15th best in the majors among the 45 left-handed batters who had at least 300 plate appearances versus lefties over that time. So as I mentioned, these lefty on lefty matchups are usually really tough on the hitter, but absolutely Newar is an exception to this. So Marmol does not have to concern himself with platoon split numbers when he sets his leadoff man every day. He won't be like, well, like I mentioned, well, they got a lefty. I can't put Newar at the top. Yeah, he can and he will, because Newar is really effective against lefty pitchers. So let's talk about right-handed pitching. Last season, Masyn Winn as the leadoff man. This is just an awful stat. As the leadoff man last year, when he went against right-handed pitchers, he had a horrendous, I mean, absolutely horrendous 276 leadoff on base percentage against right-handers. Newar, he's got a 348 on base percentage against right-handers in his career. And as a leadoff man, he's got a really good set of numbers against right-handers in his career, which you would expect. So this is a big upgrade if we recognize it's important for the top of your lineup to get on base as much as possible to set up run scoring opportunities for those who follow. And I like what Marmol's trying to do with the first three spots in this lineup. You got Newar first, Wilson Contreras second, Brendan Donovan third. All three are high on base percentage guys with power. All of them can, get on base at a high rate. All three of them can also provide some damage in the leadoff spot. And I think that's always a good way to go. Donovan, by the way, you say, well, is he really a power hitter, Bernie? Well, not in the classic sense, and certainly not the perception. But he has sneaky good power against right-handed pitching in his career. He's got a .430 slugging percentage, Donnie does, against right-handed pitchers. So I don't know that Donovan will be batting third when the other side's starting a lefty, although Donovan does okay against lefties. But Marmol, in setting the lineup, is tapping into Donovan's power against right-handed pitching. And just a reminder that the way it is in the major leagues now, it depends on the year, but anywhere from like 70 to 72% of the plate appearances taken during a season will be taken against right-handed pitching. So that's why if you go with this lineup, this is going to be the lineup against right-handed pitching, starting pitching for sure. And then whatever, as the game goes on, maybe you make some changes. But that's why he's structuring this lineup. And by the way, the Twins are starting a right-hander on Thursday. Who was it? Lopez, I think. Yeah, is gone. Or wait a minute, did I screw that name up? Whatever. It's early and I haven't had enough coffee yet. I got off to a late start today. So I also like what Marmol apparently plans on doing at the bottom of the lineup. He's placing Scott 8th and Winn 9th. Two guys that are really, really fast. Two guys that can provide good offense, robust offense in the final two spots. So if you got robust offense, 1, 2, 3, on base, slugging, and then down at the bottom, you have two guys, Scott and Winn, that can run, that can probably hit and run. Because keep in mind, Scott gets on first base. Masyn Winn is excellent at hitting to the opposite field. So this sets up some stolen base opportunities at the bottom two spots in the lineup. This sets up some hit and run possibilities. And that means more RBI opportunities for those three really good hitters at the top of the lineup. You see what I'm saying? So you could almost call this like a double leadoff situation, because the way the final two spots are being set up, it's going to feed into the top of the lineup and give those guys a chance to do some real damage. So I'm not saying that will happen. I'm just saying, as a theory and as a good idea, this makes perfect sense. By the way, I don't know if Masyn Winn, well, in fact, let me say this. I don't think he can repeat this. And it's not a diss at him, because I'm going to give you the numbers and you'll go like, whoa. Last season, when he batted 8th or 9th in the lineup before Marmol moved him to the top spot in the lineup, you know what he hit in those bottom two spots when we combine the stats? 396 average and a 997 OPS. See, Winn was really, really comfortable hitting down there. There was something about him where he just kind of knew what his job was. he didn't have that that added stress, that burden, that extra pressure that comes with the leadoff man assignment. So once again, and I've talked about that a lot, this is another reason why Marmol made a good decision here. You're going to see, I think you're going to see Masyn Winn put up great numbers. Maybe not as great as we saw last year when he batted eight or nine, because that's like not fair to expect that again. But he's going to have really good numbers down there, and him and Victor Scott can have a lot of fun too. Now I got to throw this in here. When I see the way this tentative lineup is structured, at least against right-handed pitching, it makes me think about something. I can't help but think about something. Yeah, you know what that is that I'm thinking about? I got a feeling Chaim Bloom would absolutely approve of this lineup structure. I don't think Bloom has been dispensing advice to Marmol. Well, at least not when they're all at the ballpark. But there are things called text messages, right? There are cell phones. Mobile phones, smartphones. There's other ways for the president of baseball operations in waiting to be in contact with the manager of the Cardinals, even though Chaim Bloom's thing is like, all hands off the major league club this year. I'm focusing on the minor leagues and rebuilding all that. I don't know, man. This just like the Matthew Liberatore decision of putting him in the rotation, the way all of a sudden there's this about face from Oli Marmol and the way he's going to put this lineup together. Come on now. I'm not a conspiracy guy. I'm not at all. No one can tell me that this was some decision that Oli Marmol reached independent of everybody else. This is the kind of lineup that I firmly believe Chaim Bloom would approve of. Makes me go, what's going on here? Well, I'll repeat. We got a Marmol on the loose here. We got a Marmol on the loose. Everybody be careful. All right, let's get back to the Burleson Gorman call. Now, some of you, I got to tip the cap, and I'll do that this way without taking the headphones off. Some of you in the comment section yesterday were insisting that Burleson should be in the starting lineup instead of Gorman when the decision comes down to whether you're going to pick one over the other, right? And we're obviously talking about when there's a right-handed pitcher on the mound starting the game for the other side. But some of you are insisting that if it came down on a given day to Burley or Gorman at the DH role, well, then you were saying, many of you are saying, no, Burleson's the obvious choice. I tip my cap to you because you were onto something here. Me, well, I made that mistake again. How many times do I have to make the mistake again? When I hear John Mozeliak on the radio, I hear him everywhere else. I see him in interviews, and I assumed that he was speaking the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth when he declared, for anybody who wanted to hear it, Nolan Gorman, we really think it's important for him to get 550 plate appearances this year, and that's our commitment to him. I believed it. Shame on me. I'll take this St. Louis Stars cap off and put a dunce cap on for believing anything that Mo says, right? Listen, Gorman can still get a lot of plate appearances. Again, I realize this is going to be a long season. A lot of stuff's going to happen. So maybe he'll get 550, or maybe he'll get 500, or maybe he'll get 480. What I'm saying is it's not like he's going to sit and rot on the bench, all right? I've been saying that Burleson would be the one to lose the at-bats, in terms of like just getting squeezed because Nolan Arenado returning third base, and that's where the Cardinals, plan to play Gorman at third base, but with Nato back, Gorman will now rotate between second base and DH. And with Victor Scott getting the starting gig in center field and Newar in left, obviously that significantly reduces the number of games for Brendan Donovan left field, although we'll see him out there at times. And it means a lot more games for Brendan Donovan at second base. So I thought all along with this so-called commitment to Gorman, I thought Burleson would be the guy to get squeezed and lose more at-bats. I really believe that would be the case. But once again, we have the Cardinals. Mo stays in that Mozeliak middle, but every now and then, man, he gets a little crazy. He stays in that middle, and then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, he goes over here. They changed their mind. We have a cat in the house that he likes to hog my chair down in the living room, right? And I can't get him up from the chair. And I'm like, okay, that's his chair now. And then what he'll do is he'll hop off the chair. I'll sit down. Then he'll come back wanting his chair claim his chair. And then he goes back and forth to all the different. And I'm like, okay, I get it now. I should have named this cat O, right? Because like he's in the chair. It's my chair. Go away, human. I don't care that you pay the mortgage. This is my chair. Until it isn't. Until he picks that chair. And then he goes to that chair. Then he goes to the dining room table. See, we screwed up. This cat should be renamed Mo because Mo demonstrates that same behavior. I'm smiling a lot today. Listen, see, here's my thing. This is an aside. I don't know what kind of team the Cardinals are going to have, but I actually think in a very special way, it's going to be a lot of fun because these people are kind of cuckoo, right? I mean, it's kind of like anything goes depending on the day. It's just constantly changing their mind on everything. For people like me that are writing columns and talking on video a lot and, be hanging out with Katie Wu on Cardinal territory and KMOX Gas House Gang. See, there's putting all my promotions in. I like this stuff. I like the idea that the Cardinals are going to be doing wild things and you never know which way they're going to go. It keeps it interesting, at least for me anyway. So let me get back to the serious stuff. Does Burleson now have priority status against right-handed pitching? Well, on opening day, he does. I don't know why that would change during the early weeks of the season. And here's another stat cluster for you. Burleson was absolutely terrific against right-handed pitchers last year. He hit 292 with the 341 on base percentage. He slugged 464. He had 18 home runs and 17 doubles, and he performed 25% above league average offensively against righties. And that's kind of what you want. And I think he can do better. Last season, I just told you, Burley was 25% above average against right-handers. Gorman was 8% below league average against right-handers. And his OPS against righties was 112 points less than Burley's. So, given the fact that Gorman had a terrible spring training, maybe the decision, at least for now, is to give Burley priority status in the DH spot against right-handed starting pitchers. And I can see the logic behind that. Listen, I could be overreaching here, but the Cardinals just do all this stuff, and you just never know what's going to come next. You never know what they're really thinking. You never know when they're going to change their mind again and again and again. But the other day with Katie Wu on Cardinal territory, we were kicking around something, given the bad springs that Jordan Walker had and Nolan Gorman had. We were wondering, well, what could develop if these guys get off the terrible starts in the regular season? What could develop if it's like getting towards the end of May and both of these guys are just flopping around? And it's kind of a continuation of what we saw from them offensively last year. It just makes me wonder, and for whatever it's worth, Katie Wu agreed, it just makes me wonder if the Cardinals will really be firm in their frequently stated plan to start both Walker and Gorman and stay the course through the ups and the downs. Okay, he had a bad couple of weeks. We're going to stay with him. Are they going to do that? Because you got Marmol on the loose, man. Marmol is on the loose. And Marmol wants to win as many games as he can because Marmol's job is on the line. He got Chaim Bloom coming in, like watching over him. He's going to be taking notes all season. And then the new boss takes all the authority, or will have all the authority after Mo says bye-bye. If Marmol is going to prioritize what's best for the team in terms of the 2025 standings, rather than doing what's best for the team's future or like straining to try to accomplish both things, which may be difficult to do, then where is the line drawn? I mean, Gorman, at least now, and again, we're talking about at least now, not It might not be the same in the middle of May or June or July, whatever. But as of now, Gorman appears to be losing ground to Burleson, though Gorman certainly will have the opportunity to change that. And what about Walker? What about if he is hitting 140 at the end of April and he shows no real signs of progress in May, and he's still chasing all those low and away pitches, and he's still hitting 130 against off-speed pitches, and he keeps chasing stuff out of the strike zone? I don't know. How long would he be guaranteed a starting job in right field? How long would he be guaranteed, absolutely guaranteed, to stick with the Cardinals all season? Now, before some of you, and I love you all, but before some of you say, well, Bernie, again, I think you're overreacting because this, that. No, understand where I'm coming from. It isn't, if the Cardinals actually stood by what they claim they're going to do, if they actually stayed the course instead of running off the course and getting on a new track, if I knew I could trust what they tell us, I wouldn't be asking and wondering about whether we can buy this idea that no matter what, no matter how bad it gets, Gorman and Walker are going to be here. So why would we take their word for it? I know I keep repeating myself, and I'm sorry about that, but they keep changing their own plans all the time. You can't trust anything that they say. If they said something 3 weeks ago, it's probably different now. And would Mozeliak, if Jordan Walker is really, really bad, and Gorman too, or Gorman, and I hope they're not, would Mo reconsider this whole runway stance and send Walker on the runway to Memphis, or Gorman on the runway to Memphis rather than St. Louis? I don't think such a move would happen quickly. And a few weeks ago, I didn't think this scenario would even be possible. And now I think it may be possible. For the record, if you ask me to give my opinion, and I'll be wrong because the Cardinals, of course, they say one thing and do another, but I would be surprised if they demoted Walker or Gorman. I'd be surprised. Stunned? No. Shocked? Please, hardly. But the way this front office and the manager frequently set aside their publicly stated plans. Here's what we're going to do. This is what the season's all about. We're looking forward to just giving that full runway to Gorman and Walker. Who the heck knows what they're going to do with anybody, really? I like the fact that from an entertainment standpoint, Marmol's been getting his way with roster decisions. Here I go again. Am I annoying yet? Marmol on the loose. Marmol on the loose. All squads, be alert. No, seriously, he's been getting his way in roster decisions. Who needs a backup shortstop? Jose Fermin and Jose Barrero were handed tickets to Memphis. And while Marmol couldn't quite pull off what I think he really wanted to do, which is the light-hitting Michael Ciani prevailing in center field, but Ciani hit 100 in spring training, and Victor Scott was the best player in camp. So Victor Scott's intervention basically prevented, in my opinion, it prevented Marmol doing for what he really wanted to do, which is to make Ciani his starting center fielder. And he did make sure to have Ciani on the 26-man roster, which wasn't wrong, of course. Not really. Oh, we can say it's wrong because Ciani can't hit. But I understand having an elite guy defensively, really great defensive outfielder, wherever you put him. He runs very well. He can steal bases. He does the small ball stuff. Oli likes the small ball stuff. Not too extreme, but he likes it. But at some point, as a side note, it would be really, really nice to see the outfielder Matt Kaproniak, who had 4 hits for Memphis last night against the Cardinals. Wouldn't it be nice to see him get a shot in the outfield along the way? All right. Now my brain is swirling with all kinds of thoughts. What if Walker's defensive flaws become a big, big problem again? Will Oli Marmol go against the front office by starting Ciani more often? Will we see Ciani setting up in right fields more than we would have expected, right? Or will Oli Marmol be very quick? Cardinals got a 1-run lead. It's the 6th inning, right? Whatever scenario. Is Oli Marmol going to be really, really, really quick to get Ciani in the right field and pull Walker from the game? normally I would say something like, that's ridiculous. But now I repeat, I cannot rule anything out. Let's face it. The Cardinals may not win as many games as we would like them to win, but I do not think their season will be dull. Their offense might be dull. Parts of the team may be dull, but the season as a whole won't be dull because remember, you got Mozeliak on the way out, you got Heimblum on the way in, and you got Marmol on the loose. Cardinals baseball will be cray-cray. It'll be a crazy experience in 2025. I really believe that. So, like I said, buckle up, because this thing's going to be a wild ride with some of the decisions they're going to be making all season. Hey, thanks for watching. Please subscribe and leave your comments, but please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And I'll have a column for you here soon today on sportshubstl.com. Thank you very much.